Hey guys, what's going on? How are you? Welcome to the video. I'm real excited to talk about my training this week because it actually went mad well and I'm just fired up overall, so let me get right into it. I hit both squat sessions as hard as I could and came out victorious. I did 270 and 275 as my max rep sets, capped at 10 reps. I was really excited about the 275. I felt like that was a milestone, 2 plates and a quarter. So that felt awesome. Super fired up about that. Got pretty close to failure during those sets. Also, I was interested in how my body would be after the first training session, going into the second one. I wouldn't say I was fully recovered from the first one, but I was recovered enough, obviously, to crush the squats. Back off work for squats also was a tough task, but I battled through it and got through the best I could. It's funny, as I started these back off sets, I was like, God, this is going to be brutal, like the first few sets. Then as I got further and further into those sets, I started like firing myself up, just slap myself in the face. Like, all right, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid, doing these sets. Like, they're so quick, you just got to push through it. Oh, and actually, I kept true to the 1 minute rest period as given in the program. So just pulling out all stops, like, so pumped about it. Moving on to deadlifts, it was variation week, and I decided this training cycle to go with deficit deads off of one plate. I guess it's about 2-3 inches. I actually really should measure it, actually. I mean, but those went fine. Thought they'd be kind of brutal after the high volume squatting, but I'm actually really good at those. Deficits are a go-to variation for me, actually, and I feel a lot of powerlifters now don't really like to do them. And I mean, I guess that's mostly because most pull sumo, and the setup on deficit deads is much harder when you do that. Plus the changes in back and shin angle, that all comes into play. So if you're messing around with sumo, I mean, I don't know if deficits are really a great variation for you, but I like them for conventional pullers. Only thing I don't like about this is that this program, or this week of the program, is that these deadlifts are in the 6 to 8 rep range, and I would actually recommend against that after doing this week. I'd actually opt to do these 6 to 8 sets of 2 to 3 reps instead, just basically flip the rep range. But Austin, the training Bible says moderate to high reps for hypertrophy. Yeah, 3 sets of 8 to 12. We've heard it a million times before. And although the goal here is to get sufficient volume as well as add hypertrophy, I'd actually prefer the other way. This is because, in my opinion, these variations can get a little sloppy as form breaks down, and that can lead to bad things. Think about it. You just blew a huge effort on the squat, getting super fatigued, and now you gotta figure out how to do a high rep deadlift variation that you don't normally do. Just have a feeling that that's not going to mix well for a lot of people. So if I were to change anything about this week now, it would be that. Also, having said that, murdered those pulls. I love that variation, honestly. If you have the mobility, I even recommend going off a higher deficit. That's kind of an old school thing. It's harder, but I've done training cycles where I've pulled off 2 plates, and after 2 weeks remove a plate, then another 2 weeks, then I'm going off like a small mat until I'm finally on the floor, which it's another great way to progressively overload the movement. You know, we tend to get so stuck in one range of motion, especially if you're in an off season and you aren't competing, or you know, you're just trying to spice up the training a little bit. It's good to vary that, in my opinion. Also, if you're like a team sport athlete, you want to be strong in these positions, as well as understand how to organize your spinal mechanics so that you don't get hurt if you're in an awkward position. There's just a million ways that you could just, you know, on the field and stuff, it's just not going to be always in the perfect position. So just more things to consider. Maybe I'll have to make a video talking about that stuff more in detail. Anyways, as for bench, it kind of felt heavy this week, and that was kind of my biggest fear. That's considering adding the belt, which I know wasn't going to help my bench as much as the squat or the deadlift, and I don't even bench with the belt anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I did my best to power through, trying to keep at least 2 reps in the tank on the 10-8 6 days. So, you know, kind of mini auto regulation there. And then just went balls to the wall on the max rep day, doing the best I could. But guys, that about does it for this week's video. If you're new to the channel, go below, hit the subscribe button. I'm putting out content on a consistent basis for you, trying to give as much value as I can and teach you, if you're an athlete of any kind, about how to get stronger, or how getting stronger will positively impact your performance. Don't forget to like this video or share it with someone you think it can help. If you have any questions about whatever I just said, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Thank you again for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace out.
High volume, 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 high volume. High volume, high volume, high volume, high volume.